All right, let's talk about something huge happening in the auto industry right now. There's this speed gap opening up, and honestly, it's so massive that it's threatening to leave some of the biggest names you know completely in the dust. So, yeah, let's get right into it. The whole thing really boils down to this one simple question. How in the world are these new car companies building and launching brand new vehicles in a fraction of the time it takes the established giants? I mean, we're not just talking about being a little bit faster here, they are literally rewriting the rules of the road. And here's what that looks like in real numbers. Your new EV makers, or OEMs as they're called in the industry, they're taking a car from a sketch on a napkin to rolling off the production line in about 24 months, 2 years. Now, for a traditional premium automaker, that same process can take 48 months, 4 years, sometimes even longer. That's a 2-year head start every single time a new car comes out. So, why is this such a big deal? I mean, who cares if one car comes out faster than another? Well, this isn't just some interesting statistic for a bar chart. This new automotive speed gap is a force that is completely shaking up the market, and it's all being forged in one of the most competitive places on the entire planet. And that place is China. Think about this. In less than a decade, EV adoption there has just exploded, going from only 1% to nearly half the entire market. In that kind of fierce battle for customers, where domestic brands now outnumber the big international ones 2 to 1, speed has become the ultimate weapon. And you know what? This new, faster way of doing things isn't just winning over car buyers. Oh no. Investors are seeing this fundamental shift, and they are rewarding these companies with absolutely staggering amounts of money. Just look at a disruptor like Tesla. Its market value grew by a mind-bending 4,025% in just under a decade. I mean, that's the kind of value you create when you don't just play the game, you completely change the rules. And this isn't just a Tesla story, not by a long shot. Over in China, BYD's total return for its shareholders grew by over 550% in that same period. These companies are proving in no uncertain terms that a faster, more agile approach is incredibly profitable. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin. While these disruptors were just shooting for the moon, the top 10 legacy automakers, well, they were kind of being left behind. Their average shareholder return was just 153%. That's less than a third of what BYD managed. The market is sending a very, very clear signal here. Okay, so the big question. How are they actually doing it? How is this even possible? Well, let's open up the playbook. It turns out there are 6 core levers these companies are pulling to chop their development time from 4 years all the way down to 2. And here they are, the 6 secret ingredients. It really boils down to a few core ideas, right? You've got to rethink what you build. That's portfolio optimization. Then you digitize how you build it with smart testing and better tools. And maybe most importantly, you have to fundamentally change the car itself with decoupled software, bringing more production in-house, and just having an intense focus on getting it done. Let's break down a few of the biggest time savers. And get this, look at how these savings just stack up. Smart testing alone can shave off almost an entire year, a whole year. Decoupling software can save up to 10 months. These are not minor tweaks, you know? These are massive, massive leaps in efficiency. So it all starts with a really simple principle. Complexity is the enemy of speed. Instead of these huge, sprawling product lines with tons of models, these new guys have small, focused portfolios. A lot of them only make battery electric vehicles, which already have fewer parts. And they design them to be modular so they can reuse components across different cars wherever possible. Simple is fast. Now, the second big lever, smart testing, is a total digital revolution. Actually building physical prototype cars, crashing them, and testing them is incredibly slow and expensive. So what do these new EV makers do? They do about 65% of their testing in the virtual world, using super advanced software simulations. Just by doing that, they cut the number of physical test cars they need to build in half. Okay, and this might be the biggest game changer of all. It's called decoupling software from hardware. Basically, they treat the car's software like it's a smartphone app. It's developed on a completely separate track from the physical car, and it can be updated over the air long after the car is sold. This means they don't have to wait for every single line of code to be perfect before the car goes into production, which just massively shortens the whole timeline. But look, moving this fast, it's not all sunshine and roses.
This incredible speed isn't without risk. The moment you start developing cars on the same timeline as a new smartphone, you introduce a whole new kind of pressure into the system.
Traditionally, automakers had about 7 to 10 years to perfect a car model, and this is the crucial part, pay off the massive investment in factory tooling. But if customers start expecting a brand new, totally refreshed car every 2 or 3 years, well, that window to actually make a profit shrinks dramatically. And that squeezes everyone, from the automaker all the way down the supply chain.
So what's the big takeaway here for the established players, the household names? Well, the path forward in this new accelerated world is going to require some really decisive action and, a willingness to learn from these disruptors. So the lessons for legacy car makers are pretty clear. First, they've got to streamline their portfolios because complexity just kills speed. Second, they have to fully, totally embrace digital tools like virtual testing. It's also critical to take back control of key components while building deeper partnerships with suppliers. And finally, none of this works unless you're using modern AI-powered tools to manage these incredibly complex projects with intense focus. Adopting these strategies, it's not really optional anymore if you want to compete. But it leaves us with a really fascinating question for the future. As cars become more like rolling computers, products that are constantly being updated with new software long after you've bought them, what does it truly mean to own your vehicle? It's a shift that's going to redefine not just how cars are made, but our entire relationship with them.